All right. All right, everybody. Did everybody do their homework? Did everybody think about their A and their B story? Did everybody think about everything that they were supposed to do? I hope that you guys did. I hope that you all remembered and thought about that. So we're here for that. We're here. Um, so yeah, welcome in. Let's see what we got here. So today yesterday or last week, I mean, we talked about what the A and the B story, how one affects the other, how they work in concert, how they work together, in and out, yin and yang, all that good stuff. And so today we're going to talk about characters. And we're going to talk about the types of characters, the purpose of these types of characters. That's kind of one and the same. We should probably, maybe I should have combined one and two, but I guess it's just so much that I have to say about those. So we'll get into that. Character bios. We'll talk about what you need to think about when you're writing those, and I could give you. I'm going to give you general examples, just light starting points. These are light starting points because everyone wants to say, well, their character bio should be this, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Forget all that stuff. Does it make sense to you? The character bio should be worded interestingly, and also it should, right now, that character bio needs to be helping you figure out what this character is. We can spice it up later, but right now I'm going to talk to you about character bios in terms of what you need to know in order to get it going in your head, what type of characters that we have. Now, these are the first, these first couple of weeks, these are kind of lighter things a little bit. We're going to get to some heavy stuff in the coming weeks. But for right now, just saddle in, strap in, then just enjoy the ride on this thing. Okay. If you have any questions, again, patreon.com/fobs, fobspublishing.com. Lots of ways to get in touch with us. There's the comments, there's all sorts of stuff. And there is an IndieGogo page in the description, an IndieGogo Pre page. If you want to see some of my personal work, Becky, we're going to get started with an IndieGogo here. It's going to start September 5th. So we've got less than a month to put that out. Now, characters. Again, like, there are no truly bad ideas because if it gets made, it gets made, But to me, the new Jurassic World Dominion, that would be a bad example of characters. Some people ask, oh, characters, I'm scared. Like, how many should I put? Do I have enough? Do I have too few? Do I have too many? Those are all subjective. It just depends on your story. I would say Jurassic World, given what these movies are, they're at the end of the day, they're just big reasons for kids to be wowed by something bigger than them, a dinosaur. I would say that this was way too watered down with characters. Lots of characters who all represented the same type of thing and what they were trying to do. Certain characters got pushed out, i.e., the black one. There wasn't much to her. There wasn't much to Jeff Goldblum's character. I can never remember the names, but the three original Jurassic Park people, there's not much to them. That's pretty bad when you have a lot of very shallow characters. They're not really fleshed out. And sometimes to flesh them out in a given amount of time, you need to trim down how many characters you need. These are just things to think about. Again, because there is no truly right or wrong answer. And if you're struggling with it, then that's okay. That means your brain's starting to think. You're starting to think of things you haven't. That's okay. Embrace it. Open up and embrace it. You understand that? Okay. But I would say that this is a bad example. Definitely what you don't want are a bunch of shallow, dull, uninteresting characters. None of these people look particularly distinguishable from one another overall. It's all drab, damp colors and things like that. It's not very good, right? Okay. Now, types of characters. So, what are the type of characters? What do they need to do? How do they interact with my main character? Well, think about the people in your life. Check this out. Read what's there. What do they contribute to you? What do they do? They either add to your goals, these people that you know out in life, whether you're your boss, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever, insert family member, insert person here. They're either adding to what you're trying to do in life, what your enjoyment, what you're trying to get out of here, get out here. They're either going to take away from your goals, they're going to guide you, or they're going to do a mixture of all three, or they'll just be some random bystander who ends up doing one of those things. That's character development. That's later. But that's what the characters are to your main character. Okay. Again, the amount of characters is going to depend on your synopsis and your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you writing something about finding lots of puppies, like 101 Dalmatians? There's 101 different characters because of that's literally what it calls. There's at least 100 characters in that movie. You know what I mean? Seriously. So there's lots of different ones, and I'm going to show you 2 different ones that I have with my own work, and just to kind of guide you. And again, if there's questions or anything, we're here for you. Don't be afraid. Don't sit here and just get mad because it's not all the way clicking. Talk to us. Okay. All right. Purpose of your characters. What is the purpose? They're either going to, again, this kind of goes back to what we said. They're either going to help your main character's goal, hurt the goal, or it's going to be a mixture of both. Maybe they're helping but hurting. It's a monkey paw thing, or maybe they get what they want, but at a cost. It's also, it can be a mixture. That's okay too. They should be distinguishable from the main character. They should be different enough from them. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's like an all girls thing. Well, my characters are all girls. Well, they should be distinguishable. Think about the Powerpuff Girls. Blossom, Butters, and Buttercup. Those are 3 distinguishable, different little girls. Your characters need to be distinguishable from one another. Okay, even there's going to be similarities. I would say almost. I won't quite say. I won't quite say the more different the better, but don't be afraid to experiment with that. I won't tell you that, but don't be afraid to experiment with that. And then be careful not to add, again, don't add characters that don't contribute to the story. If they're just there, just kind of out there, not doing their own thing, it doesn't work. Some of you all, I'm going to give some bonus homework. I'm going to give some extra credit. Go watch the Toy Story movies, or if you haven't seen them, go watch the rewatch. Or if you haven't seen them, go watch the Toy Story movies and see how they treat Buzz Lightyear in the first 3 versus the fourth one. The fourth one, he's just kind of there, not having anything to do. He's a character that does not contribute to the overall story. That's one of the major problems with that movie. And then don't be afraid to combine characters. You want to have like a character that's kind of maybe has PTSD, and I use that one because one of my characters has PTSD in my story, and we have a few readers who identify with that. They told me that that's what they like about it, so that's a good thing, to have identifiable characters. But so if maybe one of your other characters can have that, and now that's on them, they're left to kind of bear that. You know what I mean? Maybe it's time to kill off a character, and that person's experience is now combined, and with that main character is somebody else. It can be a lot of different things. So don't be afraid to do certain things like that as well, because sometimes a slimmer story can be better. But again, I keep it there. The amount of characters depends on your synopsis and your why. Don't lose sight of that. Do not lose sight of that, okay? But again, that's the purpose of your characters. That's what you need to be thinking about when you're creating your characters. Got me? Good. So my character example. Becky, the main characters. They are Becky, the evil shapeshifter. Then Shay, black manga characters. Liz Navarro and Eric, the boyfriend of Shay. Small character cast, clean, simple story. And I did that because it allows us to, get to the horror part sooner, excuse me, it allows the horror to breathe. Because with our audience, and again, our why is Black manga characters. We give them to you. Shay is our main character driving this story. The choices she makes impacts and brings out Becky. But once Becky's there, it's time to go crazy. It's time to place all spades up with her when she's there. The fighting with Shay, the killing of others, all sorts of things that she's doing. That's what the character is and does, you know? So, and having a small cast allows for that. So that's what works for us. And here's another example, Richard Green. Now, on the other side of that is my karate martial arts story. Now, it has multiple characters, and it allows for lots of storytelling. We have strong characters that a large audience can identify with. So there's a lot of stuff there. You know what I mean? We have strong characters, large audience. They can get behind it because there's lots of different characters, lots of different ways for you to be a part of it. This is more like, Star Wars or Captain Planet, like or Power Rangers, like a slightly larger cast, but it's a wider net so that everybody can see themselves and identify in some sort of way. So that's the attempt with Richard Green. And so, that you can do that. Now, the key is that I can't do like Jurassic Park. Now, some of you are thinking about, well, Jurassic Park was trying to do that and have everybody. Well, let me tell you the problem with Jurassic Park. The issue with it is the fact that they were all shallow. They were not fleshed out. There was really no character development. There was really no taking us from point A to point B. And that's what I want you all to think about, your character development. How can I show them in the story going from point A to point B as a changed person? And we're going to talk about that. We're going to get into some heavy stuff of that, how you can do that next week. Okay, we're building. These are building blocks. When you're writing your stories, when you got that blank sheet of paper, when you're thinking about writing your character bios, these are things you need to think about. How do they go from point A to point B? Obviously, how tall are they? How do they look? How do they feel about certain things? All of that stuff is going to go into these character bios. You understand that? So that was the example here with Richard Green. As we go to slide 7. That was for Richard Green. Now, your character bios. Now, everyone's been thinking, it's probably the place a lot of y'all wanted to go to. Oh, the character bios. What do we do with these character bios? Well, think of the basics of your character first. I'm gonna guide you through it. It's okay. Think of the name, the appearance, all of that stuff. How do they look? Do they have one eye? Do they have a shoe? Are they what species are they? Whatever. Whatever. What is this character? Insert all of that, the basics. Then after that, really think about who are they and what are they like? Who are they as a person or being or whatever? And what does this entity or individual like? You got to write that down. What do they dislike? What ticks them off? Write all of that. So so now step 3, go back to the A and the B story. Remember, you've got your A story there. That's your big thing. There's the killer around the corner, the killer evil shapeshifter, right? So why must your character take them out? Why must your character affect your A story? Why must their B story affect that A story? Why? For my character, why must she fight Becky? Well, because, hell, that's her boyfriend in there. That's why she's got to fight. She's got a pretty damn good why. That why's got to be strong. Why does Richard Green, why is he this excellent karate master? He's trying to change his community because it's going corrupt. He's trying to turn around. A lot of outside bad actors are coming in. He's trying to put a stop to that. Okay. How do they change throughout the story? Do they go back to the same place? Do they move away and become someone else? Do they move back somewhere, a changed person? Do they stay in the same place? All of that stuff. How do they change? They go from this person to that person. Start thinking about that. And we're going to get in that. That is going to be your story structure. How they change Circle number 5, guys. Circle number 5. That is going to be your story. How did they change? That's going to be all of these others combined and how they change, okay? That's going to be your story. That is your story. We're going to work on that story structure next week. You got me? And then think about what people ask during those celebrity Q&A panels. You know what I mean? Think about what they ask. We did a couple weekends ago. Not a couple weekends. This past weekend, we did this celebrity car show and comic celebrity car show in San Antonio, and we were able to listen to who is it? The guy from Better Call Saul, Gus Fring. We were able to listen to Gus from Better Call Saul, right? And he's in The Boys as well, Giancarlo Esposito, right? And he talks, they ask him about his characters and how they shift. And, a lot of you all like listening to that. Listen to those, think about that type of stuff for those who listen to that. And if you don't listen to that, that's okay. Think about 1 through 4, basically. Think about 1 through 5 and how they change. Think about 1 through 5. And that's going to be the nucleus, the minutia of your character bio. Because you're not writing these character bios, again, you're not writing them for the public yet. Let's get these for you to help you guide you in this story. You're giving what we are doing in these first few videos are giving you parameters to play in. As a kid, you had a playpen. There's certain places you couldn't go, not boundaries beyond that. You're setting up boundaries that you will not go beyond. A lot of people get mad about Star Wars or Harry Potter, and certain fandoms get upset because they feel like the story goes beyond certain parameters and does things it shouldn't do. You're setting up some strong parameters so you won't make that mistake. That's what we're doing right now. And it feels weird. It feels sticky. Some of y'all are like, oh, I don't get it. Trust me, you'll be fine. Again, we're here if you got questions. So I just did a little simple example, and of my character bio. The main character is Shay. She's in her mid-20s, a black woman, slender build, whatever. Shay thought she had the perfect life, and then a setup that most women can only dream of. After the blonde butcher appears one night, can Shay defeat her when the demon hits too close to home? And I put the apostrophe erroneously in hits. It's fine. These are all, again, this is all, we're just out here working together. Classroom, guys, classroom. Go get my polished stuff here on these here at these links. We're just having class right now, but basically you see that's just the nucleus. You know what I'm saying? That's the nucleus. I could go a little deeper, in my character bios, in my books, they go a lot deeper. We can talk about that in the comments and things like that. If you get the book, you'll see how deep it goes. Same thing with Richard Green. Just talks about Richard having an unshakable spirit. Look at that. Take a look. Richard Green, unshakable spirit. He's built. He's a black male. Again, black anime characters. So this is the basics of my nucleus. I set up the parameters that I can play in when it comes to Becky and Richard Green. You get it? So check that out there. All right, so homework time. You need to think about your characters. Think about how they contribute to your story. How do they affect your main character? How do these other sub-characters that you're going to come up with, whether it's the bad guy, the friend, all of them. And then think about how do they affect your main character? What is the main character's strong points? What are your main character's strong points? And then next week, we're going to do story outlines. So check out the Patreon, check out the Fobs Publishing. Make sure you go, links in the comments, in the bio, all that stuff. We'll see you all next week. Like, share, and subscribe. Be safe. We'll see you.